The massive COVID infection and death rate is the highest all around the Terry Sanford Federal Courthouse in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I've been litigating the spewing and dumping of vast amounts of sewage in this federal courthouse here, Terry Sanford, since 2010, 11, 12. I've been down there for years, warning the people of the United States and warning the people of the world, actually, about the massive COVID infection and death rate, the highest in North Carolina, basically, all around the Terry Sanford Federal Courthouse in Raleigh, North Carolina, zip code 27610. There, to the south and southeast of New Bern Avenue, where Judge Terrence Boyle and Richard Myers and the whole federal court scheme in North Carolina, the whole federal court scheme in the 4th District federal courts for the United States, like to run cover and whitewash and secret the massive sewage dumping engaged in by some of the largest corporations in the country, and of course the United States government, the cities, the towns, and the villages themselves. You see, folks, sewage is full of millions of viruses and bacteria, hugely infectious, and the government is the biggest culprit in the world. In fact, this massive sewage debacle is global. Look into the sewage scandal, the sewage crisis in Wuhan, China, and then follow it to London and Paris and Barcelona and Madrid, Spain, and Italy. Italy's just massively full of the COVIDs and sewage, like Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Toronto, Canada, Montreal, Canada, Albany, New York, Glens Falls, New York, Binghamton, Vermont, all over Lake Champlain. This massive, unfreaking believable sewage fiasco all over planet Earth. Well, I've been in the Terry Sanford Federal Courthouse for a decade, almost a decade now, trying to get this government to knock it off. Yeah, they're even trying to tell me that New York State doesn't do business in North Carolina. That's a load of sewage. North Carolina, let me give you a little bit of a news flash. New York State does huge amounts of business in North Carolina, and that's for the federal judges of the United States Judiciary and the U.S. Supreme Court. New York State does massive, vast amounts of business in North Carolina, and that's part of the litigation, the precedent, international shoe versus Washington State, the basic bare minimums of diversity of citizenship before the federal courts. New York State does massive amounts of business in North Carolina, and the filings and pleadings on record in the court that I've provided to the whole world prove it beyond any doubt. There is no mistake about it. So Judge Terrence Boyle and Judge Myers, this idea that New York State doesn't do business in North Carolina is a giant septic tank manure wagon full of you-know-what. Folks, the highest infection and death rates from COVID in the state of North Carolina is all around the Terry Sanford Federal Courthouse, zip code 27610. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it right there. I know these videos seem a little bit pointless at this point, but it's the only way to get the word out. Have a nice day.